Hello and welcome to another episode of Toothless MMA's radio series Quick Hitters. I'll be your host, John Galloway, and today, as we look at the world of combat sports, I'll be joined by my guest, Robert the Beast Washington. Robert, John Galloway, Toothless MMA, how's it going today?
I'm good. Just leaving work, about to head to training.
All right. Well, you have been a busy man right now because you're just coming off of a fight August 22nd for Titan Fighting at Titan Fighting 29. You had a TKO, a doctor stoppage over Blaine Thomas, an up-and-coming fighter. And you're not done there. You're having a quick turnaround. You're going to be back on the card, it looks like, coming up September 26th. Why don't you talk about this turnaround and how this fight came about?
Well, right after the fight, they asked me would I fight again on the 29th because my fight ended pretty fast. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And they asked me, what about Tonio Furia? And at first I was thinking about it like, okay, the weight. But I went back and checked my weight. After the fight, I fought at 170, and I was walking around at like 168. So I was like, well, this is a good opportunity for me. I don't have a lot of weight to cut. Yeah, this is a perfect fight for me. So yeah, right after the fight, we started talking about the next fight right away because the fight ended so fast, and they wanted to get me right back in there. So yeah, I appreciate that a lot.
Nice. Now, as you mentioned, you're going to be fighting Tonino Furia coming up on the 26th here. Now, he usually fights around 145. Is that where you guys are going to be making weight at 145, or what's the weight that you're looking at?
The weight that we're fighting at?
Yes.
Is that what you're asking? I'm sorry. Yeah, we're doing a catch weight at 150. So I asked for the catch weight bout. I did personally, and they accepted. So we're going to do a catch weight at 150. This is my first time fighting that low. The lowest I've ever got down to was like 154. But my weight's never been this low either. I'm like almost 10 pounds lighter than I usually walk around at, and I cut to 55. So the cut won't be bad at all.
All right. Now you're 31 years old. You've been in the fight game for quite some time, going back as far as 2007. How did you get started with fighting? What's your background?
So I've been fighting for about 6 years. I think I started, my first fight was in 2008, I think. But I wrestled in high school, and I was a pretty decent wrestler. But I just never had the right coaches and stuff. And then I joined the military, and in the military I wrestled, for the Navy team for a little bit. Was never able to compete for them. So I still had that competitive edge, and I've always been a competitor. I played high school football, semi-pro football, and everything. So one day I was in San Diego, and I used to be stationed in Guam, and I saw one of my friends fighting in Guam on the internet, and I was like, wow, this is interesting. And I was like, well, let me try it out. So literally, I chose orders back to Guam just so I can train there, because I knew some people there, and I was like, this probably be the easiest way for me to train. I was there before, so I got orders back to Guam while I was in the military, and I started training there. Took my first fight, didn't really have an amateur career, took my first fight, won it, and just loved it, just fell in love with it from there.
So that is a probably a very unique and interesting background. Requesting to be restationed back in Guam while in the military to get into the fighting. If you hadn't had that wrestling background, do you think it would have been the same thing for you, or do you think having that combat sport background, it was an easy transition?
Oh, I think once you wrestle, everything else is easy. MMA is probably the only thing that can really compete to wrestling. So that wrestling background definitely paved. It laid my foundation for my power, for my wrestling abilities, my grappling abilities. So everything I owe in this sport, I owe it back to my days in wrestling, honestly, because it pretty much built me. So if I didn't have that background, I probably wouldn't even be interested in MMA at all, probably. So, yeah.
Now, you're currently 18-8, coming off of a 3-fight win streak. tell me about carrying that momentum, those 3 fights, into your next fight.
The biggest thing for me is just the mental mindset that I'm in now. I've never been this mentally mature. Like, I think in fighting, the biggest thing we all feel, we try to rush things. We try to take fights that we shouldn't take. Yeah, physically we're ready. You got a 21-year-old kid who's ready physically, but mentally going in there with those, experienced veterans and stuff like that, it's a whole different mindset. So, like, my biggest thing is, like, everything I've done in my last fight, I do it in practice all the time. I just needed to transfer my skill set from practice over to the cage. And this took me time to mature as a fighter, and I feel like I'm at that point now. So my momentum is really high right now. I honestly feel like, a year from now, I can be a top 10, lightweight in the world or featherweight in the world. That's how strong mentally I am right now. I've trained with high level guys, and I know what I can do against high level guys. So yeah, I'm carrying a lot of momentum in this fight, and I want to finish guys in the first round. So
now, let's expound on that for a minute, because you said within the next year you could see yourself ranked in the top 10. Where do you see yourself in the next year, 2 years, 3 years with Titan? Do you see a title shot in your near future? Are you just gonna go with what they give you, or how do you see this playing out?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. This actual fight is a title eliminator fight. So whoever wins this fight will be fighting for the title. So yeah, I mean, I definitely want to do my damage with Titan. I want to get my name out here. Titan gave me an opportunity to showcase my skill set, so that's what I'm going to do. My ultimate goal is to get into the UFC, but like I'm patient right now, so I'm gonna take it one fight at a time, do what I need to do with Titan, and whatever falls in line, falls in line. I don't plan on losing no time soon, so I think it's a great opportunity so people can, when I get to where I want to go, people can know, okay, we know about this kid. We know that he's good. So, so I'm pretty much branding myself right now. And every time I fight with Titan, I want to give exciting fights for the fans and for myself.
So this fight coming up is a featherweight title eliminator, correct?
Correct.
And you will be fighting... I believe the other featherweight title eliminator was on the card that you just fought on Titan Fighting 29 between Kurt Holobaugh and I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I apologize for that. But you will be facing Lloyd Woodard. Thank you, Cupcake.
Yeah.
And so the winner of your fight here with Tonino coming up will face Kurt Holobaugh for the title. Is that correct?
Correct. That's from my understanding, the way that Jeff put it. Correct. Yeah.
Now, do you think that plays into the timing of this fight coming so quickly after your last fight, and them asking if you would be interested in taking it on such short notice to try to?
Well,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just going to ask you, do you think it's that this is part of their plan, giving you guys both fights within about a month of each other, so that way 3 months down the line, 4 months down the line, we could be seeing the title fight with Kurt and either you or Tonino in there. You think that timing played into this factor?
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, I honestly feel like I was supposed to fight Furia back in April. I tore my meniscus in April getting ready for that fight. So I pulled out the fight like 2 weeks before the fight. Okay. And I had knee surgery in May. So, I mean, literally, I took this last fight on about 2.5 week notice, and I was 3 months from knee surgery. 2 months from knee surgery almost. And I wasn't even supposed to be training for another month or so, and I ended up fighting. But, so I knew in a sense they wanted that matchup. Either they wanted that matchup or they just wanted somebody to come in and fight Furia because they couldn't find nobody to fight him. But from the first moment I saw him on film, I seen some holes in his game, and I feel like I could beat him from the first moment. So it's a fight that always interested me. was just this time. It just happened at the right time. Somebody else pulled out the fight card, and I just came out a fast victory. So I think it's just it was a combination of they wanted the fight to happen anyway, and one of the guys got hurt, and my fight ended in like 80 seconds. So why not throw him back in there? And we need a good, and it's going to be a good fight too. So they're looking at all aspects of it. So.
Nice. So your last fight against Blaine Thomas actually came off the short notice. For this one, you're going to actually have a couple weeks to prepare for it. Now you did say when you first this fight had first been brought to your attention that you saw some holes in his game that you thought you could take advantage of. Without giving away your game plan, where do you see your strengths over him? Where do you see this fight being having the advantage in it?
Well, I mean, definitely the power department. Like I just fought a 70-pounder. I walk around at 70, and they just feel. I mean, bigger guys. I mean, I have no problem with fighting bigger guys because I'm just, and explosiveness and with the speed department also, and just me being an athlete. I think I'm more athletic than him. Technical wise, like if it was a kickboxing match, maybe it'll be close, but overall, I just feel like I'm a better mixed martial artist with him, and the way where I'm at mentally right now in my career, I just don't feel like I can be beat with the right training and with the right guidance. I don't think I can be beat right now.
Nice. Now you're 18-8 as we mentioned, so you're looking at 26 fights. He's 26-4, so he's got a couple more wins, couple less losses. But comparably, you guys are probably looking right around the same, roughly the same amount of time in the cage. Do you think there's going to be an experience difference, though, in the competition that you face as opposed to the competition he's faced coming into this fight?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, you look on paper. I mean, I have some names on my record that I fought that stand out. Like I look on paper and his, and I really don't see the type of competition that I was fighting. And I fought that competition early in my career. 2 years in the sport, I was fighting, guys who fought for the UFC title 2 years before that. So the competition aspect of it, I've been there with better guys, and I feel like I'm to this point the best guy he's fought so far. I see a lot of the guys, and I just feel like that experience factor is going to play a little bit, but I don't think it's going to affect him that much. I think he's a warrior. He's going to come out swinging, and that's what I expect.
Nice. Now, going into this fight and going into all your fights, there are people along the way that try to help you out. You have supporters, you have sponsors that might be there for you. Anybody you want to mention and bring up right now?
Oh, definitely my team. Finney's MMA, all the guys at Finney's MMA. We got a small group of guys, but we have some really, really good guys with a lot of heart, and these guys push me every day. And I want to prove to the world that you don't have to be at a super gym to be a great fighter. You put in the work and you put in a dedication, and you got good training partners. You can be on that same level. And also all my sponsors, like the Cauliflower Culture, Spike 22. Mastermind Vodka, Combatives Gear, all those guys helped me out with my last fight. Plan on helping me out with this fight. Just my family, and I also want to thank Titan for giving me another opportunity to showcase my skills. Because just Titan, they saw something in me that they liked, and they want to bring me back. So not only am I fighting for myself, but I'm fighting for my fans. I'm fighting for Titan. I'm fighting for everybody who supported me, or who supported my last win or whatever. So
nice. Now this fight that we're talking about is going to be September 26th. It's at the Cedar Park Center in Cedar Park, Texas. It's Titan Fighting Championships 30. For those that can't be there in Cedar Park that night and can't see the fights on CBS or CBS Sports Network, where can they follow you on social media so they can see how the fight went and keep up with what you've got going on and what's coming up in your future?
Oh yeah, you can hit me up on Twitter at Two Ways Out. Or on Facebook, it's just Robert Washington. I got a fan page, Robert the Beast Washington. Yeah, all the support the better. So anyone looking of any upcoming fights, I keep everybody updated online. So
excellent. Well, we wish you luck. That's going to wrap up another episode of Toothless MMA's radio series, Quick Hitters. I'd like to extend a big thank you to today's guests for joining us. For Robert Washington, this is John Galloway, and we are tapping out.